Gemini, big welcome to you. This is your April tarot reading coming from the mountains of Java. And I want to say that I really hope you get something out of it. And if you do, Gemini, if you could subscribe, hit the like button, even pass a comment, it will help me greatly with these algorithms that I somewhat struggle with. But from the heart, I'm saying to you, I really do hope that you get something useful out of this reading. You may well be asking, why from Java? What's important about tarot from Java? And the truth is, there is nothing so important about tarot from Java. Simply that here in Java, we have many different spirits who will come to help in your tarot reading. It'll probably put a different reflection on things. For example, the spirits here are less likely to be concerned about love and finances, despite people in Java being every bit as interested in these things as the rest of us. But maybe the spirits are trying to tell us something else. Now I'll be using probably 2 decks, but out of 3 decks. So the first deck is Tarot Nusantara, the second deck is the Steampunk deck, and the third deck is the Light Visions Tarot. Tarot Nusantara is actually a new one to me, which I love, whereas the Light Visions I've struggled with as a result of the rendering. Although I think I'll grow into it, I will keep using it and coming back to it. You can see on all of them I'm using quite a lot of salt, and that's to clear the energy and the spirits from them, something that I do fairly regularly with my tarot. And I also, you'll see a number of Jimat there that I use just to bring a good energy to the tarot and to my reading. Perhaps the most important mystical object we use in Java is the kris, the curly knife that you can see that I've placed across both decks. Kris are very important for bringing the spirits to work on any object here in Java. And I call on the spirits of the mountain to assist me in shuffling the cards, in choosing the right cards, and interpret them for Gemini for April 2022. Gemini, I've just done Capricorn's reading, and I mustn't get too hung up on it, but this almost looks like a pre-reading for Capricorn. There were things in Capricorn's reading that I couldn't understand because they weren't really there, as though they were something in the past that wasn't being disclosed, and this feels like this is the disclosure of it. But I mustn't get hung up on it. But like Capricorn, the central card, the overall energy, is the Hanged Man. And now this could be self-imposed or it could be imposed upon you. But what you're doing is you're waiting around, looking at what's happening in the world before taking action. The card of the past is the Six of Swords. This is a card of moving on, but it's also a card of dumping baggage. Very often when I see this card, particularly in this position, I find that the baggage hasn't been dumped, but we don't know yet. Your current energy is the 9 of Cups. Many blessings. But the big difference between this and the 10 is you're by yourself. So I wonder if this is about relationships. It certainly feels as though it could be. And maybe that's the baggage you need to dump. Your future energy is the 8 of Swords. This is you putting up self-imposed restrictions. Maybe I'm right. Maybe you've been hurt in love and you're putting up restrictions. Because certainly the energy impacting on the outcome is the 3 of Swords, which suggests a broken heart. And now the energy to prevent the outcome is the Page of Cups. I think this is you seeking love. It could be you seeking something creative, but it's certainly seeking something new. And the outcome sees you thinking of the past, looking to the past, probably looking to a past love. So I think I'm right, you didn't dump the baggage. You're waiting on things because you've not fully recovered from this heartbreak. And yeah, as I say, the overall energy running through it is the Hanged Man. And this is you waiting around for something to happen. Now, I think this is self-imposed. It could be imposed upon you, but I think it's self-imposed. I think you're not acting because you're trying to sort things out in your mind. And given that I believe this is about a relationship ending, I think you're not rushing into another relationship. You're restricting yourself from moving on to another relationship. Because the truth is, there's still baggage you haven't got rid of. You're still somewhat heartbroken. And if you look at him, well, yeah, he's strung up. He can't really do anything but observe, look at what's happening, take note of it. But when he's cut down, he will act. He will act when he's cut down. But you're not just yet. And I think you're doing this to yourself. Now, your past energy is the Six of Swords, an energy of moving on, and an energy whereby you should be dumping baggage. I'm pretty certain from the other cards this is moving on from a relationship, and that you should be dumping the baggage from that relationship. But I'm also pretty certain that you haven't effectively dumped the baggage. Now, you might think you have. But the very fact that maybe you're still hurt, maybe you're still thinking about things, suggests to me that you haven't. You look at the card, well, they're moving from one side of a lake to the other. So they are moving on. So I think you have done that moving on pretty effectively. But what you've not done is you've controlled your thoughts. You've not dumped the thoughts of what's happened. Perhaps it's going through your mind. Oh, what happened? What really happened then? Oh, I don't know. What happened? Yeah. Current energy is a Nine of Cups. It's actually a lovely card. It's a card of many blessings, particularly blessings in terms of finances. So I think that you have moved on from this relationship. You're not really feeling the financial pinch of it. And, you know, it is a lovely card. I used to think it was a wonderful card because it's happiness, it's joy. But when I compared it to the Ten of Cups, what I realised was the difference is that you're by yourself. So yes, a relationship's ended. You've moved on from that relationship, but you're by yourself. You look at him, he's sitting there in his finery, in that chair, the cups behind his head. It's seemingly he's got everything. Except a companion. Now, given that the overall energy is that of the Hanged Man, I wonder if you're sort of not even looking for love at the moment, because you're still thinking about what happened in the past. I wonder if that's how we should interpret these things. But, you know, this isn't a bad card at all. Your energy is the Eight of Swords, and this really does fit in with what I've been saying so far. And that is you're putting up restrictions. Now, I think you're restricting yourself in terms of future love. And if you look at the card, well, there's 8 swords there, barring her way. She's blindfolded. Now, I can tell that the tide is going out, but she can't. And of course, when it comes in, she could be in danger. So it's not a good thing to restrict yourself when you don't really know what's going on. And you know, if she was to take off that blindfold, there's that beautiful village with a Hindu temple up on the cliff. So I think there are better things for you if you could remove these restrictions. They are self-imposed, which is why I think the Hanged Man is also self-imposed. And I think it is you're not looking for love. Now, why aren't you looking for love? Why aren't you? And it's because you've still got a broken heart. We've got the Three of Swords here. And this impacts on the outcome. Yeah, you've still got a broken heart from what happened. And I know you'll be shouting at me now, no, I haven't, I'm fine, honestly, I'm fine. I've moved on, but you haven't. You haven't. That's why you've got the restrictions there. You've not moved on. And now, it's only a minor arcana. So, it isn't meant to last. But, you know, I know from experience these things can stay with you for half your life. When I was at university, I met somebody who, well, I very much loved. And, you know, whilst at university and then when we were in our first jobs, we lived together as much as we could because of, you know, we were working completely different parts of the country. In fact, even different countries at times. So it wasn't always possible to be together, but she dumped me. I've never really found out why. I think I do know now, but I didn't know at the time. And that stayed with me. You know, that stayed with me for probably 30 years until I met my current wife. So, you know, here's me saying that it will pass over quickly, but I do know it doesn't always. It doesn't always. Change the outcome, and again it makes perfect sense, is the Page of Cups. Now it might be just you looking for something creative, you looking for something emotional, but I'm pretty certain it's you looking for love. So if you could cut yourself down from being the Hanged Man, go out and look for love, then I think things could change very, very rapidly for you. You look at the card, well, you know, he's up for anything. He's even up for a fish coming out of a cup. So when I've had this in similar circumstances for other signs, I've said that maybe you're putting up too many restrictions on love. Maybe you've got too much of an ideal. Maybe it's even an ideal that your next partner should be like your last, you know. But yeah, I think you're putting up too many restrictions. And if you could be much more open to love and love just coming to you, maybe you would get the most wonderful benefits. I mean, I found my wife on the other side of the world. Different religion to me, 18 years younger than me. She left school at 12. I used to lecture at universities. On paper, we're chalk and cheese. On paper, we should never get on. And yet, you know, where it all counts, we're absolutely perfect together. Absolutely perfect. But I'd never have chosen her if I'd thought too logically. Never would. And it's almost like God sent us to be together. Certainly fate did. Because how on earth did we end up together? But we're so happy. And now the outcome isn't necessarily a bad outcome. It's the Six of Cups. But given what I've said before, what I'm pretty certain is this is you thinking about that past love. You're reminiscing about it. You're still thinking about it because your heart is still broken. And what I think is happening is that, you know, you think you've got over it because there's physical distance between you. You do think of them sometimes. You don't realise you're putting up these restrictions to new love. But sometimes it just all comes flooding back as memories. All comes flooding back and maybe saying, oh, if only I'd done this, if only I'd done... I know that's what I did for years. I did it for years. Without realising what the real problem was. And the problem wasn't within my hands anyway, nor indeed hers. No. So you look at the card, well, you know, your memories are always somewhat false memories. They're always somewhat better than real life. And this card says it, doesn't it? You know, 6 cups full of flowers, with a daughter, dressed beautifully, father on guard, so they've got security, living in a lovely village. It's as though the past could not have been better. And if you dwell in the past, you will live in the past. No, you must dwell in the current and be open to the future. I think we can summarise. This has been quite an easy one, but let's get some clarity. It might change everything. It might do. Now let's get some clarity on this 3 of Swords, this broken heart. And the first thing we get is the 3 of Cups, card of friendship. Very interesting. I'll come to what I think with a full explanation shortly. We then have the Hermit, you going inside yourself. So that's it. You see, you're trying to work out what had happened. Then we have the 4 of Cups, again going inside yourself. You're thinking things over and you're not spotting the opportunities that surround you as a result. Gosh, all these cards have fallen into place so well. Let's look at each individually. So yes, the first card of clarity is the 3 of Cups, card of friendship. And now what this could mean, and I don't think it does, but what it could mean is that you and this person were just friends. You thought there was more to it, but they didn't. So it could be that. But if you look at this card, and it's this rendering in particular, there's that boy between the 2 girls. And I think they're both vying for his attention. And I think it could be that whoever you were in love with, one of your friends took them from you. And no wonder you're still carrying these thoughts if that's the case. No wonder you are. And you know, you'll be saying, well, why did that happen? We were all so friendly. How did that happen? How did it happen? Blaming yourself, could I have done more? You know, love is strange. Love is strange. You won't ever work it out, so don't try. And the next card is the Hermit. So yeah, you're exploring your thoughts. You're exploring your inner thoughts. You're saying to yourself, why did this happen? Why did this happen? What could I have done to avoid it? What am I really thinking now, you know? And I'll tell you what you're thinking. You want somebody just like him or her. And that's not the approach. You even want to get them back, don't you? There isn't a feeling of retribution here. It isn't a feeling like you want to get them back to show that friend who took them. No, it doesn't feel like that at all. It's just you want them back. Or you want somebody like them. You're just deep inside your head. And you look at him, look, he's looking into that light, isn't he? Standing there above London. Is it a dawn or is it the twilight? Who knows? But he's there by himself, solitary. Just in his own thoughts. And that is you, Gemini. That is you, Gemini. And really the 4 of Cups confirms that last card, the Hermit. I mean, it's not as strong as the Hermit. But it's you, introspective, looking at things. You're looking at those 3 goblets of wine on the table. You've drunk 2 and you're about to start on another. And that's all you can see. All you can see is this very minor field of vision. You're despondent. Are you despairing? Probably not, but you're despondent. Despondent, yeah. And you know, if you were to look up, there's a lovely goblet there above his head, behind him. But as someone has pointed out to me, there's also a skull. And I think this tells us a lot about love. That love, you just have to throw yourself into it. You will get hurt again. You will. You can't put up those barriers, that 8 of Wands, to love. Because if you do, you just won't find it. You have to go through the knocks books to find what you really want. And believe me, I didn't find what I wanted until I was well into my 50s. You know, I went a lifetime of making mistakes and heartbreak until I got what I want. And that is love. That is love. Oh, Gemini, I think we can summarize for you. Gemini, there's a love from the past. Now, I'm not 100% certain that they loved you back even. We'll come to that, but you might just have been friends, but you certainly loved them. But it's ended, and you've moved on, and you've put some distance between you and them. But what you've not done is dumped the emotional baggage. That's still with you. And I think, Gemini, that, you know, in other terms, you're doing quite well. You're quite happy. You know, you're quite secure. You're financially abundant. You're doing okay, but this just keeps playing on your mind. And the way it plays on your mind is you're restricting yourself from looking for love. You're not open to love. You're hanging around for something, and I'll come to what I think it is you're hanging around for, but you're putting up barriers. And you're not going to find love with those barriers. And the universe wants you to know that if you could lower those barriers, lower your expectations, maybe you're looking for somebody just like the one you lost. Maybe more likely you're looking for them to come back. But if you could just welcome love as it comes knocking, then maybe you really will find love and forget all about this one. But no, currently now you're broken-hearted. And yeah, you're dwelling on it. And the reason why I think you're dwelling on it, now, as I say, they may have been a friend, and although you love them, they saw you as no more than a friend. But it could be that one of your friends took them from you. Now, I don't detect any real bitterness on your behalf, although maybe you want them back and think, oh, I'll show that friend a lesson. But I don't think that's it. I think you just want them back. So you're going inside your head thinking, what have I done wrong? What did I do wrong? Well, if I'd done this instead of that, maybe that's what you're doing. And in doing so, you know, you're inside your head. In doing so, you're not even seeing other loves that are there. Now, there's no guarantee, as I say, that the next love will be the one for you, and you may be hurt again. But if you want to find love, you have to be prepared to accept that. Because one day it will come knocking to your door. One day you will get exactly what you want, and you will be very happy. And the universe wants you to know that. But no, you're dwelling in the past right now. You're dwelling in the past. That's all you can think about. As I say, you're putting up barriers. Maybe the only person you could accept is them coming back to you, but they won't. And you have to move on. You have to move on. Yeah. Sorry, Gemini. Sorry. My heart goes out to you. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed Tarot from Java as an addition to my channel, The Magic of Java. Please take a look at the other videos that I have on this channel about magic from Java, and I hope that you will become a subscriber. Now, if you want to hear your next tarot reading, hit the button, and that will inform you of when I publish new readings. I'm certainly going to do a reading for every month, but maybe I will try them a bit more frequently, say a mid-month reading, and maybe also some special readings. But above all, thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you, and enjoy Java.